Atom Wars, which we talked about a year and a half ago, something like that, which is now called Hydro. Hydro is basically an initiative to monetize POL, protocol-owned liquidity. And if you remember, there were a couple of proposals in which teams like Persistence or Stride or Goric requested community funds to be deployed in DeFi, which would then generate a business model. But lending that liquidity was basically for free, right? Hydro aims to gamify that and aims to turn it into a business model, not just for the productivity of the asset itself, but also for lending that service, for lending liquidity, right? That's the whole thing. Basically modeled on Curve. So obviously Curve Wars was the originator of that idea. And it's basically buckets of Atom liquidity in which projects will be able to bid for receiving that liquidity for their ecosystems, right? And there will be multiple buckets, there will be multiple rounds, bidding rounds. And in that way, you're gamifying the system, you're activating communities, and you're basically enabling these wars for liquidity. The first bucket aims to allocate 1 million Atom, which currently is around $6.5 million. And I'm not going to go into this proposal. We have so much more to cover, but basically TLDR is that the original idea is to take 500K in actual regular Atoms and to take the other 500,000 Atoms, liquid stake it with Stride, and then use that for Atom Wars. However, the backlash here is clearly that the community does not want to keep favoring Stride in that sense, because that means, you know, another 2.5 million TVL for Stride, which I understand. So I think, you know, based on community feedback, and if you go through here, like the comments, a lot of is about that, and also clawing back some of the liquidity that was already distributed, which I also see some movement there. So I think Persistence already mentioned that they want to return their liquidity, and yeah, some others too. But we'll see. I think the most important thing here is really to get started, to prove that Hydro works, to prove that there's demand. And I think this is a compelling second product to security. This is also a tweet from Ethan Buckman, co-founder of Cosmos, who is basically saying, you guys generally like Hydro, but you don't like swapping half for ST Atom, and you want to claw back the old PL first. Seems reasonable. So I think they will take that feedback. So Ethan is, you know, wearing two hats. He's the president of the ICF and co-founder of Cosmos, but also he's the CEO of Informal Systems. There's also some drama around that. And Informal, so his company is basically the one that proposes Hydro and has built